Hello, it is Diane with Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies.com, and this is a video that I am creating for the treat bag that we made at my in-person October 2023 class, and I wanted to share some things that I learned, some tips and tricks. The one that our host actually picked out was the one with the haunted house, the more Thanksgiving one instead of a fall. But I did want to kind of go over in this video some things that I learned, some things I would do differently, things like that on the Halloween version. But the fall version, I didn't want to show. The leaves that I am using actually are found in the aspen dies. These two leaves here, they cut it out and they also emboss the veins on here. If I were to do it again, I would probably do some rubbing in here to create kind of the weathered look and also to bring out the veins in those leaves. I would also probably pop them out a little bit more. And that's something that you can do with that one. Some of the other products that we did use, the host for the October class did want things made with the Tricks and Treats bundle. And this treat bag is something that you can make from the dies. And I want to go over kind of putting that together and tips and tricks for that as well. This is found in the September to October 2023 mini catalog. And it comes with several dies. Some of the dies do not match stamp sets or the stamps in here. Like there's a ghost that just cuts out a ghost by itself. This little tag that's in here is the one that I cut out for this. The For You stamp was from a different stamp set, a retired one that I had. It also can cut this jagged edge. So if you really just wanted a box, then you, or even if you wanted a fancier edge on here, you could actually use this zigzag to cut a zigzag across. Or you could use that zigzag to cut any designer series paper to go on a card. Also, there's two of these tags. The vampire, the Frankenstein, and the house can all be cut out with these dies. The word boo is in here. It also comes with the treat bag and two different holes. These are dies to cut the holes on both sides. There's larger holes and then there's the smaller holes. And I wanted to kind of go over that. One of our ladies kind of just added the post-it notes around to hold everything together so that everything would be spaced the same on every piece that they cut. Another die or set of dies that are in here. This one does the candy corn, and I saw a really cute idea shared by a fellow demonstrator from Texas. She created some of these little treat bags with 3 of the candy corns across here. So she cut the larger piece with the pumpkin pie cardstock. I think it was Daffodil Delight cardstock. She cut the top that fit over the top part, and then white cardstock for this bottom piece that covers the bottom, and that creates the candy corn. So just wanted to share that with you. I thought it was a really cute way of using that. And so the pieces that you would need to, or well, let me go over a couple other things. The paper that I chose to use, the orange and the green, is actually from the Stargazing Designer Series paper that is found in the 2023-24 annual catalog. And a lot of those papers have the planets and the stars and things on it. But there are some other pieces that are just decorative pieces. And so I am using those to make the treat bags. The other products that I'm using is the glow-in-the-dark paper. This is in the September-December 2023 mini catalog, and this one actually does glow in the dark. Some of my other projects that you could find on my blog and link to those videos, they show other projects that I made using that. And if you're going to be cutting out small things or things with the small pieces, I would recommend that you get the adhesive sheets from the annual catalog, the 2023-24 annual catalog, and put that on the back of the piece. So here's a piece. I put that on the back, and then I did the die cutting. You will need to keep the glow-in-the-dark paper is the front part that's the glow-in-the-dark. It's kind of a, it feels kind of like a fine grit sandpaper. I don't know any other way of describing it. It's kind of scratchy, and the back side is smooth. And so you want to make sure that you put your adhesive on the smooth side, not the scratchy side. You also want to make sure that the things that you're cutting out, that they will be shown clearly and accurately on this side. So you don't want to cut like if the word boo on here, you don't want to cut it out of the back side. You want to cut it from the front so that the glow in the dark actually faces out in the correct direction. So that was some tips on that. And there was one of the things that I had done in the beginning is using the haunted house stamp, and I just stamped it on plain white cardstock with black ink, and I ended up getting some spotty places on it. So for the class, I remembered that what I did was I put the haunted house in the Versamark first, and then I inked it up in the black, and then I stamped it onto the white cardstock. And then I used the clear embossing powder. This can be found in the annual catalog. And with the clear embossing powder, it helped everything fill in and look nicer, as well as using the Versamark so that it helped it to go better. And then when I heat set it, it actually kind of gave it a little glossy look. I wanted to also try, because I didn't think about it until I was in the class, to see how well this would ink onto the glow-in-the-dark paper, because I thought it would be really neat if this stuff in the windows and the background actually glowed in the dark. So I'm bringing this stuff out here, and we're going to give it a try. Before I get too far in that, no, I'm going to just finish this. I get sidetracked. I get a little bit sidetracked on some things and want to do other things. So on here, I'm going to go ahead and take the Versamark, and I'll ink up the stamp with that, and then I'm going to grab the black, if I can. See if this works. We live and learn, don't we? I'm not sure how the clear embossing powder is going to work with this. You might even take, because there is black embossing powder, you might just want to do the Versamark and then emboss it in black. I didn't bring that out here, didn't think about it till just now. So there's all kinds of alternatives, and it's always fun to play with the different techniques and things. And looks like some of that clear embossing powder is sticking to the glow in the dark. Not sure how that's going to affect it. Just a moment, let me get my heat tool that's off over here, and we will try to get that done. Sometimes it's good to get your heat tools heated up before you start running it around. Now, I would not recommend the clear. I would recommend, if you're going to do that, to try the black, because it didn't work quite well, but it did work when I did the clear embossing for just the regular cardstock. And so that's what I ended up doing for my class. Doesn't hurt to try. It's how we learn. And so if you wanted to try that other one, I would probably recommend using the black embossing powder and the Versamark with the house. There we go. Let me put these away. So I did cut the house out after I embossed that, and then I also took, there they are, the word boo, and I cut that out, die cut that out of the glow in the dark paper. Now the treat bag, I started out with 2 pieces of designer series paper, and I cut those at 5 1/4 by 4 3/4. Now, if it is a directional paper that you have, you want to make sure that the 5 1/4 is in the direction of that directional paper, and then the 4 3/4 is the side to side. And you're going to need 2 pieces of that. Then you're going to take, we found out that you can actually do both pieces at once. So you can lay that down and place your die, and you can do the holes separate, or you can do what we had kind of done for the class and put it all together with Post-it notes and held it together. But once you've cut those out, it just cuts a very small little thin border around, and then it also cuts out these holes. It also, I don't know if you can see it on the video, try to get this up. Can you see those embossing lines? Because it also embosses these score lines that you can then fold your paper, your bag over. Now, if you wanted to die cut the jagged edge, I would do that before you do any scoring or folding or anything like that, just so that it'll lay flat. But once you're ready, you're going to have these pieces, and there's a little tab over here. You'll burnish those with your scoring tool, your foam folder. Sorry about that. And fold all those over. Now, I did choose which side I want to be my front, because that's the side that you're going to want to fold up your bottom to be away from. So like this one, this last fold is actually towards the back, so that you're not seeing an edge under here. I learned that because the first one that I did, the fold was this way, and so when you're looking at it, kind of holding it up, you see this edge right here. So I wanted to fold it so that it went the other way. You could always fold it up and then just put the front on the correct side, but I wanted to point that out. I am using tear-in tape to hold the bag together, because I figure you're going to put things in here and it'll hold better and be stronger with the tear-in tape. And so I'm going to put that just on the tab side and I want it to be kind of closer to the scored edge, because that's what's going to hold it together. Okay. And then put that one there. And then I had heard, and it does seem to work, is if you burnish with your foam folder, kind of helps that adhesive to stick down and make it a little bit easier for you to pull up on the backing and not have the backing stick or the adhesive try to come up. Now, what I did was I lined up that scored edge. You're going to turn them, and the big end is going to be on this side for the top, but the big end is going to be on this side for this bottom piece. And you're going to want to line that up so that it lines up with the top and this far edge. So the score line is going to line up with the edge. You're going to want to make sure it also lines up with that top. And in the corner, you need to be careful because this is pretty strong tape. Try to get this. I'm going to fold that one back down a little bit. Line that up with the top. Might even be good to put that there. Line it up with this edge. And then all your score lines should line up as well. So we've got that. Now I'm going to fold this one up and pull the backing off of it. Some people have I've watched some people that are holding it and trying to line everything up on this side too, but I found that if you just fold it where this tab is that you've already glued down, and you hold this one down and you just lay it over, it should automatically line up since you did the other side. And then you just have that box. Now, this is where I'm going to add some adhesive, and I'll probably use the tear and tape again just so that it holds better. I don't know that we need to. I'm going to do it like I had done it before, and I'm actually going to tuck these tabs in first. So I'm going to add tear and tape to that, and then also kind of out towards the edge. And then I can fold it back down this way. And put that there. And then I will burnish those just so I can hopefully get those backings up pretty easily. And throw those away. Probably have to hold this one up because I don't want to stick those other ones to my grid paper. You could put down your silicone craft sheet to keep that from sticking. I just did not bring mine over here. Okay, so I've got those, and I'm going to tuck those in, and then I will fold. You're going to want to hold this. Maybe it's better to lay it down. Tuck those in. I'll go ahead and make this part the back. But you want to make sure that this is kind of squared up and then you'll fold that part there. Then you can take and set it up right and use your bone folder to kind of stick those tabs there. Now I'm going to just add the tear and tape to this piece. That was something else, is make sure that you, when you're putting your tear and tape on the tabs, that you don't go too far over, otherwise there's going to be glue sticking out, which I can see some of mine is. And you could try to rub that off later or use a glue eraser or something like that to get it off. I'm just trying to roll mine down a little bit so that it doesn't stick out too far. Okay, then we will stick this tear and tape over here. Do another piece kind of closer in. Burnish those. Pull the backings off. I hope that you do enjoy these, oh, didn't come off, projects, and maybe take and make them your own. These bags could be used as, you know, party favors. They could be used for any type of occasion. If you do activities with any kind of groups or whatever, you could make these bags for them. And it makes it fairly easy with the having a die for it. You don't have to sit here and do a whole bunch of measuring and scoring and everything. Now, I am using a retired ribbon that I had, and I'm using two pieces that are about 10 inches. And what I decided to do, because I didn't want to really tie a knot or anything and have it in the way, so I took the ribbon and I pushed it through. Let me demonstrate. So I pushed it through one side to get it here, and just kind of pull it up about, you know, out so that you can get to it. And then I laid it where that ribbon was straight. So just as I pushed it through, and then it's laid straight here. And then I took some tear and tape and I created my own, you know, adhesive backed ribbon by just using some tear and tape. And then I tore that backing off. Let me see if it's easier to just grab it with my fingernail since it's ribbon. And then I pulled it back in a little bit so that it was closer to where that, I don't know if you could see it, where it's closer to the hole. And then I just folded it down and glued it on the inside of the bag. You can use your bone folder to kind of help with that. And then I took and I pushed it through the other side, and I just repeated the process. If you wanted your handles going this way instead of, you know, across this way, you could do that however you want to do it. I just ended up doing mine this way. So again, I pulled it out just kind of straight in the direction that I put it in, laid it down, and then put another piece of tear and tape on the ribbon. Pulled it kind of back in, maybe leaving the backing on there. You could see how I just kind of pulled it back in where it's almost to that hole. I hope you can see that. I'll remove that backing. Try to again here. Come on. There we go. Starting to tear out. And then I I just, again, pushed that straight flat in there and glued it on the inside of the bag. And that's how I did both of those ribbons. You can't really see it when you make, you fill this with whatever you want to put in here. I thought it would be good to get some of those little cellophane bags and put the treat inside that and then put it in here, especially if it's any kind of cookies or things that might get on the bag. And then I'm gonna leave off that other ribbon because I think you get the gist of that. And then you can take these other pieces and I'm gonna pop the house up away from the edge, which is different from what I did here because I thought it just needed a little bit of depth and dimension. You could add other stamps. You could put a label, a bigger label behind it, like maybe a moon or something. Maybe that's what you'd want to create with the glow-in-the-dark paper. In fact, let's try something. See if I've got, I don't know if it's not big enough or whatever. Try that here. Oh, it is just big enough. So I punched out a 1 3/4 inch circle. You could use whatever punches or dies that you have out of the glow in the dark, and then I could even put that here. I do have the adhesive backing on this, so I could get up under there. I'm going to use the piercing tool that's part of the take your pick tool and see if I can get up under there. Come on. I don't want to mess up the front. Maybe bending it a little bit will help. Oh, I had it. Just have to get under there just right. Okay, so I'm tearing that adhesive backing off, and I'll put that just directly onto the bag. Kind of press that down using my hand, and then tear the backings off with the dimensionals. Then I can put this straight up and down. I could cock it or whatever I want to do. And then I did use the adhesive backing on here. Let me see if I can grab a hold of it. My fingernails. Yep, there it goes. And it's pulling most of those little small pieces out with that backing. But there's a couple that's stuck in here. So I'm just going to pull those out. And then this, like I said, I did cut it out with the glow in the dark. And since I don't want the glow in dark and glow in dark, I'm going to put this actually on top of the haunted house. And then that will be a really cute thing. You could also use designer series paper, another type or whatever, and create something there. Now, one that I did see was using the Frankenstein. And another one I saw was using the vampire face and creating a label behind it. This set does come with this kind of label here that you could use to put behind something. Or you could use some of your other sets that have that. But I did want to share this with you, and I hope that you were able to enjoy this video, and I hope that you'll check out the other projects that we made at the class. at my blog, www.dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com. And there are videos linked to each of the other ones. The dimensions are on my blog, so you don't have to try to remember how big to cut these pieces. And there are other projects that I have done previous months and years. I hope that you'll check those out. If you do like the things that I make, I hope that you will subscribe to my YouTube channel and share it with others. Also, if you'd like to know when I upload another video, you can click that bell icon and it will let you know when I'm posting another video. And I would love to be your demonstrator if you don't already have one. I hope that you will shop with me if you like any of these projects. And I do use some retired stuff sometimes with mine to show you how to use the things that you already have or may already have. And I hope that you will come back and join me again soon. And thank you for your time and sharing it with me.